Hello and welcome, brothers. As you've probably seen, I've got a few other videos popping out at the moment, and if you've seen my Mars pattern Reaver Titan, you'll now know that it is complete, and I'm moving on to bigger and better things, if you understand my meaning. But I loved the colour pattern so much on my Imperial Knight Titans and on the Reaver Titan that I've now decided to embark on this project before I move on to bigger things. And this project, if I zoom out, will be to completely revamp and repaint my Lucius pattern Warhound Titan. There it is. It's getting old now. I think I bought this model back in 2003. I think I went to the games day and then spent the rest of the summer. Well, I think I went in like September, and I went through October, most of October, and probably a little bit of November, gluing it, painting it. I used super glue. I put it in a fixed pose. Everything was glued down, and yeah. It was my first experience. It wasn't my first experience of a Forge World model. I think the year before I had I've still got a Bane blade, and all I did was basically just spray it black and put you know, obviously painted some metal detail on it, and that was it. I didn't really shadow it or anything like that, and that was my first experience of Forge World models, and that was fine. That went together well. And you know, it was a good project. But that was my first model, and this was my second model. To go from that to a full resin Bane blade, which still back then they were about £150, something like that, was an undertaking. This was a monstrous undertaking, I tell you. A lot of errors and mistakes were made in this model, but I'm determined to paint it in my gold and black colour scheme. It'll fit the army better, it'll fit the other Titans better. I don't know, I mean, I am going to do it, but I, as always, welcome your feedback. And you think it's a good idea, do you think you're against the idea? Bearing in mind you've already seen what my Reaver Titan looks like, and the colour scheme, and the fact that it matches my other models. I just think that this Warhound and any other Warhounds in this grey and yellow colour scheme just look a bit out of place and not really fit well with the army. They look a bit abstract, and you know, not really going well with the army. It's fine that it's of a specific legio, but I've decided to change it and to colour it in the Reaver and the Knight Titans colours. So with the blessing of the Omnissiah, I have decreed this Titan due for a paint update. Whether I will paint all the metal parts different, I'll probably touch them up, use a bit of that Roomfang steel in places. But the first part is, of course, because the model was completely super glued, I've decided to magnetise as much as I can, with the exception of the head. Now I'll tell you why in a moment, but that's why I've got a limp plasma blast gun. As you can see, it's just limp. So, and the reason being is because I thought that 1 kilogram pull magnet, 10mm, would be sufficient. It's not. Just for reference, I'm going to buy some 1.6 kilogram pull. But if a 1.6 isn't, I definitely know that the 20mm 2 kilogram pull magnets are, because they hold the Reaver Titan's weapons in position. I mean, you can sort of get away with it. Their Jingly Bell is not the Titan, it's the cat. You can sort of get away with it with the turbo lasers, or the laser destructor if you want a proper name. But I don't really trust that. It still wobbles and doesn't go exactly where you'd want. I mean, normally it'd be there, but it just gives a bit, like it just hangs. So so just in case you were you know, you're thinking about that. However, these 10mm should be enough to support that head. It should be fine. But yeah, so that's a mistake. They're glued with epoxy resin, so I'm going to have to take them off, which is fine. But I have managed to magnetise the hips to the torso, so I've magnetised that with the 20mm 2kg pull. That would be fine. But as you can see, look at all that crappy detail that I'm going to have to spray and go over. And just the grey, I mean, I do like the grey and the yellow. I think it's a good contrast, but I can't really do much of the highlighting and things like that. And I think just black and the gold just really work. So that's what I'm going to do. I might change the head colour. I'm not sure about that, but the reason why I'm not magnetising the head, one, there's no need to, and two, it's glued with these cabling, and I don't think the Mars pattern has that. I'm not too sure, but if I did take the head off, and it already came off when I was detaching the hips anyway by mistake, the cabling would have to be magnetised, put a little magnet in there, and then every time you take the head off and put it back on, you have to realign the cables. So hence why I'm just going to leave it in that position. Transportation, that's going to be fine. It's not a huge piece really, grand scheme of things. So I've managed to magnetise the hips, which is what I kind of wanted to do to start off with, but the head is going to be a fixed point. Join me in the next few videos and things. The next video you'll see, actually, I'm not going to do any. It's not going to be a series or anything, but the next video you'll see will be of this completely painted and finished, and I'm thinking of changing this green to a blue. But yeah, so that's just a bit of an update on this model, that I'm going to be revamping it, spraying it, changing the colour scheme. I'm thinking about getting the Titan transfer sheet, even though it's a whopping £16 just for one sheet of basically paper with transfers, and I'm thinking of putting a transfer on there and there, completely getting rid of these, making them black, but having this panel and then the side panels gold, because they don't really have a trim like the Mars pattern. But there we go, it'll just blend in a bit more, and I'm going to obviously do the turbo lasers with the brass rings and the brass ends as well, because I think it's just such a good colour on the Reaver that I'd be stupid not to do that on this. But yeah, I thought I've had this model for 12 years now, so well over a decade, and I thought it's about time for me to invest some time and some love into it and revamp it, you know. So yeah, the next week's video will be, because I've got the Titan out, I'm going to do a video after this. Next video for next week will be Warhound Titan tactics. I thought I'd start off my tactics videos with a Titan and with one of my favourite models. So I'm going to be talking about the rules of this Titan, tactics in game, comparing it to other units, other enemy units, and things like that. Put your suggestions down below what video you wish for the tactics video after that, for subsequent tactics videos. I'm going to keep to Imperial, and I'm going to keep to the items that I've got. Yeah, I mean, if you want a tactics video on a tactical squad, by all means. If you want a tactics video on a Land Raider, I'll do that. And obviously I'll have my model on this board or a couple of other boards to illustrate it and to illustrate the tactics a bit better. So that's it for this video. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. I hope you look forward to more Warhammer Wednesday videos. Thanks for watching. The Emperor protects.